Better? Nice. What's going on, people? I heard, yeah, I heard him talking about it. I remember Ferguson was like, there's a lot of Ferguson, and around that time was like Gamergate bullshit too, and that was some of the stuff that really got the gears in my head spinning at the time. Even though I still like kind of bought the Black Lives Matter bullshit, the specific Ferguson case was like, come on, you got to be honest about the facts of what happened, as you know, as were determined in court. And yeah, that was like, but at the time I was still kind of the mindset of like, but don't condemn Black Lives Matter as a whole because you don't want to be racist. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Well, yeah, it's like, yeah, I mean, flash forward 5 years and perspective has changed in a lot of that. But yeah, it is interesting how the narrative about that persists despite the findings of fact. He wanted to see the specific spot. Was that the spot where he was shot, or was that a different place? I see. From the rioting? How long, what point in time was that? How long after the actual shooting? And it happened in August. I guess it's a 5-year anniversary, right? So the memorial was still there and the stuff was still burned and like destroyed better part of a year later.
So what did I miss?
We were talking about the 5th anniversary of Michael Brown, which is...
Oh, that punk ass bitch. We're still talking about him.
You racist.
I'm not a racist. The guy was such a bully. I mean, he robbed a convenience store before he gets shot by a cop. The guy's a douchebag. I can't believe they're even celebrating this asshole.
Well, it is weird how yeah, I was just kind of talking about how the narrative persists even after the fact.
Oh, even my senator still talks about this jerk, just jack off. Oh my!
We're talking about Warren or what?
Warren still talks about like, oh my god, the poor victim, blah blah blah. It's like, well, shut up, you stupid. Why don't you just go back working for the Federal Reserve? Like,
who even is the other Massachusetts senator? I can't think of who it is.
Oh,
off the top
it's
of my head.
hold on.
Oh, is it no, who the hell is it?
It's I know who it is. It's not Merkel. Damn it, Markle. I think it's Markle.
There's Ed Markey, but he's a congressman.
Ed Markey,
right?
that's who it is.
Isn't he Congress? Or isn't he House?
No, Ed Markey is in
Is he in the Senate? You're right. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. Yeah, shows this guy is clearly second fiddle to Elizabeth Warren, man.
I mean,
he's been in there since she has too.
Yeah, around the same time. He got elected like a little bit after she did. I mean, he's not that bad, but it's like the politics here is so ridiculous outside of Boston now. It's God. I mean, it's like we're all joking. We might just move to Alaska just to get away from us all this fuckery. I'm sorry. Oh, my cat ran away.
Yeah, it's. Go ahead.
Oh, Smith & Wesson, what happened now? Oh. Okay.
I was watching Mr. Guns and Gears channel, and he did a whole Smith & Wesson facility tour, and I was thinking, maybe Leela will be in there, but you didn't show up.
No, they won't put me there. I'm too much of a weirdo.
It wasn't in. You usually work with like what, the revolver parts, or what are you working on?
I work I work specifically revolver frame, so
Yeah.
it's I'm like in the back of the factory in the rear building. So
Yeah,
it's
he
like,
was looking at like AR parts and stuff.
oh, he's in a different part of the factory completely. So he's in a completely different division. So I mean, it's very rarely we get guests in my section. So
Hmm.
I mean, like maybe some students when they talk about how a revolver is created from start to finish. So we do that. So
Well, these days you got to be. I'd imagine if you're in a gun manufacturing facility, you got to be careful about who you let in and stuff. I mean, some of these
no, they're
crazies.
not.
Really?
They have anti-gun people in that place now. It's actually disgusting because they have a problem with hiring people. And you didn't hear this from me, by the way. I'm just speaking my mind. So don't. So if you want to hear anything official, you have to go to the Smith and Wesson headquarters. This is just my personal
Yeah, sure.
observation. But they like some of the people, like we have some problems with some of the hires because they hire temporary workers and they can't, I mean, if there's nothing, they used to do like a background check where they have to pass like a Corey, or at least they have no charges with federally or at the state level where they have done a what is it called? A felony. Well,
Hmm.
as long as they don't have any felonies or serious misdemeanors, they can work at Smith and Wesson. But like I said, the problem we're having now, I don't know how long this is going to last, but they've been hiring a lot of. If you ever go through the factory, you will see that in one area where they do assembly, we have a high number of local people that work there now. But unfortunately, a lot of them are like these college kids or kids who've been programmed with this new think right now. So they're always looking for white supremacy, injustice, whatever kind of nonsense. Like
Really?
I mean, I had some people. I had one
Huh.
fat black bitch try to get me fired from that place because I spoke my mind. You can't fuck with my head with some of this shit. It's like I'm too much of an asshole. Um, but it's like at first, I thought she was cool, and then it just turns out like the second you say like, well, like for example, she'll talk about like dreadlocks or something, how white people shouldn't be wearing those. Well, I go,
Oh
yeah,
no.
I have the same problem with black people wearing Polish folk costumes. Like that's racist. Like no, it's not. How dare you culturally appropriate Polish? You know how stupid you guys look at it. It's like it doesn't. It
I'm
like
su- I'm surprised that if you I'm just surprised they would want to work at a gun manufacturer if they were of a super progressive mindset.
Well, I mean, for work in Western Mass, I mean, unless you have like a skill, I mean, working in one of our factories is not that bad. I mean, working at Smith and Wesson, even as a temp worker, it's not a bad wage. I mean, you get like between 9 to 11 bucks an hour starting, and if they like you, they'll hire you on after 90 days. So,
Hmm.
but I mean, we do get. I mean, I'm not going to badmouth a lot of the people, but you get these crumb cakes that like end up coming in here, especially the college educated ones, and they're so damaged with this new think right now that like for example like that black bitch that tried to get me fired. I mean she's like no older than 22, 23 years old.
Why did
Just
she try to get you fired?
because I spoke my mind.
So it was about exchanges on like
She went to
culture
my
and or
Yeah,
something.
she went to my boss and she said like, oh, I'm offended, and my boss basically told me like, Leela, you are no longer allowed to talk about current events with anyone or you're going to get fired.
How long have you been there? Hasn't it been a long time?
Next month is 15 years.
Yeah, wow.
I've never experienced any of this shit before. It's like ever since Trump got elected, all I could think is like everyone's been brainwashed to hate each other. It's like
Yeah.
you never like that 3 years ago. It's a brainwashing. It's all I can say. It's I don't know. I like I said, and then the fat bitch like quit after that when I didn't get fired. She's like, I can't because she's not allowed to talk to me. I'm not allowed to talk to her. I can't talk about current events. She's not allowed to speak her mind, so she just quit. She just like one day like I need to quit. It's like bye bye, go fuck yourself.
So she's gone. Wow.
Oh, she quit. She's gone. This was like last year. I mean, I had a few other weird instances, and my boss basically told me like, Lila, you just need to shut your mouth. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, but these used to be the conversations that we would have all the time 10 years ago, 5 years ago, maybe, I don't know, 15 years ago. And they would just be funny. They would just be banter. And
Right.
you know, if someone would say something quote unquote offensive, you just go, shut up, you're out of your mind, or whatever, and that would be the end of it.
Then
Now
that was always
it's
kind of fun. It's like every workplace I've had, you'd try to find like that cool person who like wasn't uptight about that sort of thing that you could share the kind of spicy jokes with, you know, or spicy
Yeah.
memes or whatever. And not everyone was, you know, like you got to feel it out. But that's the
Right.
point. Is like, yeah, I've never worked in a place that was that uptight with the culture where it's the same thing as in general society. If someone's like, if someone has a sense of humor that's not to my taste or what, it's like I don't care. I'll just avoid that person. It's not like I'm going to try to get them fired or some weird stuff like that.
Right. You take it upon yourself. Like, all right, I'm not feeling this vibe, so I'll take myself out. I'm not feeling this vibe, so I'm going to try to destroy you.
Yeah, they must be punished.
Well, here's a good question. Can you tell dirty jokes at your workplace?
Well, the last like professional job I had, like the only quote unquote professional job I've had in my life, I worked with mostly women in the office, so it was
Right. Oh yeah, so you have
it was
to
a
be
little dicey. Like you know, some you could joke with, but I really kind of played the straight and narrow because even back then, this is like prior to 2016.
right.
This was before Me Too and all that stuff. But you know, it's just like you know that if you get anywhere near too loose with that sort of stuff, you'll get in trouble really quickly.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Oh, you're not even safe there anymore. There's now women getting hired in that too.
Yeah.
Definitely. Right, right.
Are they
Yeah, I
even
got
legal in Massachusetts?
suppressors.
Yeah.
I have to. I think we can have it because I think Trump has lifted that. So I think he made that federal, but I have to double check. I mean,
No, that stuff's not deregulated federally yet.
I think they are.
It will be a glorious day if they are.
Because
I'll buy them all. Give me one, give me all. Yeah.
I mean, like, I just look at it this way. I basically stay in my neck of the woods in Western Mass, and I'm just happy in the isolation that
I
I'm
was going to
under.
say, I'll go to the Smith & Wesson. Are they actually manufacturing suppressors, the Gemtech suppressors there?
I don't think, not that I know of. I mean, you have to talk to my husband, but he's in Alaska right now, so he won't be back until
Is he vacationing or is it a business?
vacationing. He's visiting his daughter.
That's right. I actually just got your postcard. Was it from Portland? Or did you go to
No.
Europe?
That was Poland, not Portland.
Oh, I thought you said Portland in the email. That's why I was confused because
Did I? Maybe it was a typo.
Now I'm curious. Did I misread?
Yes,
Wait,
it was in Polish. Did you see the stamp? It was.
That's why I was confused because I was like, this isn't from Portland. But
there's a Polish joke in here somewhere. I just can't find it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're right. No, you said Poland, and I misread it as Portland.
Maybe you want to think it's Poland. That's projection.
It's probably just because I lived. It's like my brain sees those letters and just reads it that way because of living there and talking about it or whatever. So
right.
So you went to Poland.
Yeah, I was there for like that. I haven't even told you my nightmare with my my plane ticket too.
Oh no, what happened?
That's later. I'll save that for the end. I want some of the other people to have a chance to talk. That's just a funny story.
Well, that's crazy. So you got home before the postcard got to me, or did you send the post? You sent the postcard from Poland?
I think I did. So you must have a Polish. I did send it out of Poland.
Yeah, because it's got some crazy markings on it.
Yeah, that's the Polish one. But you're supposed to get your lucky Jew from Poland.
Okay, this will be cool. What's that about?
Okay, I have it translated, but what it is, and this is a really popular knick-knack you can get like in southern Poland, because in the olden days, the Jews
Is it straight from Warsaw? Is it like really authentic?
No, it's actually made. This was in the Bieszczady region. This is like southern Poland. So this we used it used to be part of Galicia. We're on the western half. The eastern half is in the Ukraine right now. But no, what it is, it's just a little figurine of a Jew, and he's holding like a grosh, which is like the Poland's version of a penny. And I translated it for you. What's said on it, it has this big dollar sign on it underneath. And you can see this grosh floating in his palm. It's like really funny. But back then, Poles couldn't really lend money to each other because we were Roman Catholics, and the Roman Catholic Church has prohibited Christians from charging usury, which is an interest rate on any monetary loans. So the Jews were kind of like our loan. Well, I don't want to call them loan sharks, but they're kind of like our pawn, like pawnbrokers and money lenders.
Kind of bankers.
Yeah, it's small. It's like small
Financial
time
guys.
banking.
Savings and loan.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but back then, yeah, I mean, like the joke where they actually bury money in the ground, like, yeah, that's true. I mean, they had that's how things were back then. But yeah, you're gonna get your lucky Jew because it has a cute little saying that says when a Jew holds your money in his palm or something about you're gonna be making money because a Jew holds the money in his palm, and once he has the money in his palm, it's so cute, but it's like funny.
Does he look like a little Ben Shapiro?
No, he looks like a Hasidic Jew.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't look like Ben.
I was bummed in Ben today too. He did his whole disavowal bit with like, the conspiracy theories about Epstein, gang. We got to disavow. And I was like, come on, have a little fun. We all know it's like a lot of it's bullshit, but come on, let's just have a little fun.
Oh, I just heard something even unusual
it's
with the
Twitter
Jeffrey
suggests.
Epstein case. Oh, I'm sorry. Who?
Oh, is he spicy?
There's
in
more
Twitter?
weirdness.
Oh, he's spicy in the Twitter.
There's
Why is
more
he doing
weirdness.
that? Why is he spicy?
Did you know
on
he
Twitter?
won the lottery a few years back?
Ben did?
Not fuck Ben. I'm talking.
Epstein.
Yeah, Epstein did. He won. He won like the lotto or one of the big ones. Like in 2008, he won it was an $83 million jackpot. He ended up like collecting 38, but his name was never revealed because the money in it was hidden in a trust. He won a lottery. I'm like, how the fuck does this guy get money? And
Winning
like,
the lottery and blackmail will do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, this guy is with Weasel. Like, how the fuck does this is? I'm like, I feel like, what the fuck's going on? Is this planet Earth run by space
Well, he must have been
aliens?
crazy. Like, I don't know that much about investment services or money management. But I was listening to Sargon's video about Epstein's history, and it was mentioned that like he was a financial or wealth manager basically, but he was saying in there that like per a contract with the people whose wealth he was managing, they would have to sign over power of attorney to him and basically full control of everything. So I have to imagine the reward for signing over that sort of authority to a person had to be really high. How is it that he was delivering financial returns requisite of giving him full control of all of your money, basically?
Oh, you're gonna dive into one hell of a rabbit hole. I mean, my brain has already hurt so bad just listening to this crap already. Oh my god, it just gets weird. I mean, I've been following this jackass since Pizzagate. So
is he a part of Pizzagate somehow? Is he connected?
He was one of the first figures besides Podesta and those assholes, but they're all linked to one another because
I got a quick question for you to settle a disagreement between a friend of mine and I. Do you prefer Pidosta or Pedoesta?
Fucking, I don't know. I just call him Podesta. Everyone hates.
I like Pedoesta.
Pedoesta.
But Pidosta is an option too. Anyway, carry on.
No, it's like I said. I've been following Pizzagate since 2016, and what was so ironic about Pizzagate when it exploded, it happened like a few days right before the election, by a handful of people like who managed to get all this information from like files that was from WikiLeaks, and they were like on 4chan people, and they just ended up like going through all these files, and they found some really juicy tidbits with Podesta and linked to other people and the Clintons and Obama.
Is Podesta linked to Epstein in any meaningful way?
Nobody has really. Well, they keep. It's loosely connected because the Clintons, well, especially Bill Clinton, he was on Lolita. He went on the Lolita Express, and he was on Lolita Island, whatever the fuck.
I heard the feds raided the island today.
Yeah.
The FBI did.
Oh yeah, there's this weird shit going. I mean, they did that like at the first trial. So we're talking about 2008. It got raided. I don't know about now. They burned everything
blacklight at their disposal as they break down those doors. What's going on? It's got to be disgusting, man.
I don't want to see that under the black light with luminol. No, that's just no. Probably look like a Jackson Pollock painting or something.
Oh
I love his work. I love his work.
Here's a non sequitur that just sparked my mind last night on your show, Matt, because you had a Boomer Esiason reference.
Yeah, which I'm bummed I didn't get, but yeah.
So when I was working at ESPN, we were writing a Boomer Esiason question, and one of the guys put forward this rumor that he'd heard that one of the things he liked to do when he was in college at Maryland was go into the showers and leave a boomer, and that was a.
Well, I can imagine a boomer is one of 2 or 3 things.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Or either or could be.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
One of 2 things.
Yeah.
But
I see.
Yeah, nothing worse than a phantom shitter.
So try not to think of that when you see Boomer analyzing NFL football this season.
Well, I don't really watch CBS. Mostly because I don't watch the analysis shows because they're annoying, but also because the Vikings are usually on Fox. So I never see, and I don't really sit down and watch other, like I'll watch the Vikings game attentively, and I don't watch other games, but for like the highlights, you know.
I
just watch the Vikings, because I'm not a football fan. I'm a Vikings fan.
Yeah.
I watch the Vikings play football. When they're done, I watch the Super Bowl. That's it.
When does the football season start anyway?
Preseason just started.
Okay, all right.
About a month.
All right.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to watch your show, Matt, last night.
Yeah, it was fun. We were talking about Epstein. I mean, it was this week was so crazy with the. I can't even say the Epstein death was crazy. It's like I was saying last night. I was out, and some messages came up on my phone. They're like, "Epstein's dead." I thought, yeah, that's predictable. And I just put my phone away and didn't look at it for the rest of Saturday.
Yeah, Lori told me when we were on our way back from the farmer's market, she said, Epstein just committed suicide. I go, yep.
Yeah, right.
Kind of saw that one coming.
Yeah.
He was
so I'm going to have to break my rule about Twitter on the weekends and see what all the memes are.
Yeah, the memes have been pretty good.
Yeah, they have been really good. I mean, it's like, only the death of Epstein could get me to do something like agreeing with Cenk Uygur and Alyssa Milano and all these other people, and Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez. I mean, they're all sitting there saying there has to be something going on. We need to investigate. And I'm like,
okay, yeah,
you bastard, Epstein. Not only were you a pedophile, but you made me have to agree with these people.
Who thinks suicide and who thinks foul play?
Oh, he killed himself. I think he killed himself.
I think it's 6'5" and you pick him. Neither one would surprise me. It's a coin flip for me, but I wouldn't be surprised by either one.
Now, I think the dude was looking at life. He killed himself. He was embarrassed. All this crap was coming out. The guy killed himself. The memes are great. I hate the Clintons, but I'm pretty sure the dude killed himself.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to see a little more information because I'd like to know how he did it. I mean, that's my biggest thing.
The latest is a bed sheet.
I think he's alive. I think he's alive, and they just put him in a body bag so they could ship him to Germany or something and ramp.
They can live out.
Yeah, that's a big theory now that he's escaped somewhere in the third world and used a body double.
Because the cameras were off, guards weren't there. What the fuck? I feel like up on everything after that.
Yes. I saw that. I just.
Yeah.
Oh God, Yeah, I just had this vision though from like kind of a scene out of the last part of The Good Planet of the Apes with Charlton Heston, where it's like the guy's on the beach and he's just got his damn you, all to hell. Alex Jones was right. Yeah. I don't know. I'm getting tired of living in interesting times, though, man. I want things to get dull for a while. I need a little dullness.
This week was infuriating for sure. The gun law stuff is really bumming me out right now. Trump is.
Me too.
Trump is pissing me off.
Be 4D chess again.
No, it's not for you.
No, just Trump is kind of an idiot sometimes, but.
No, he's just
Well,
catering.
you have to...
Well, the problem is, I don't think Trump is actually a Second Amendment advocate. I don't think he cares.
No, he's a business Democrat.
Yeah, so he's just going with what he thinks is just popular.
Yeah, but give him, and again, you got to remember politicians. It's like I was down there because I had to call the city councilman and a few other people today to remind them that a magazine ban is not a really practical thing for the city of Ankeny or for the city of Des Moines. And but I got to talking with some people down at the Democratic Party down at the Republican Party headquarters. And as one of them said, he goes, they all lie. He said they're all going to say things at different times and stuff. He goes, until paper starts getting signed or you actually hear that paper is getting ready to be signed, treat it just as, it's just bullshit.
Well, I'm just surprised that, normally like the 4chan people or the people who are on Twitter and stuff, they usually will start giving Trump shit when they don't like something. Yep. And a lot of those accounts got deleted by Twitter, so I don't know what the fuck's going on. Yeah, usually.
But like I said, just take it with a grain of salt right now. It's there's a lot of crazy stuff going on, and we've got the worst thing going on because the biggest thing right now is I'm tilting at windmills along with trying to get Iowa off the power grid. I'd like the state legislature to pass a law that you can't pass any law dealing with a crisis until 30 days has gone by.
Huh?
And how do you define a crisis?
That's one of the things that's going to have to be worked out. I mean, this is something in the planning stage. It's like, hey, I think that would be a good idea, but I don't know everything that's going to need to be worked out, so I should talk to the people who make the laws and see what we can work out. But I don't think, like, say, a mass shooting, I don't think you should make a law dealing with mass shootings unless there's some overwhelming emergency, like you've got an army running around killing people. I don't think you should make a law for 30 days for 30 days after the crisis. Give everybody a chance to kind of calm down, take a deep breath, because that's how we end up with all this stupid stuff like the Patriot Act, and that's how you get the city council getting ready to ban. That's how you get the city council of Des Moines getting ready to ban 30-round magazines.
Why?
That's how you get all this. If people could take 30, if you could take 30 days and just say, hey, you can't do anything for 30 days unless it's a true emergency, like people are going to die, people are going to lose property.
They'll just say it's based on the tragedy.
Mass shootings are rare. This is
ridiculous. Which is why but see, since they're so rare, everybody goes nuts when they happen.
Yeah,
and the media finds it. They don't talk about the black on black violence in the inner cities, but yet one dumbass who managed to pass through his security credentials to get rifles and stuff is the one that's going to be like blasted all over the media
because it's blasted all over the media and because everybody's going crazy. What happens? Lawmakers start worrying about getting reelected.
Yeah.
Politicians only care about one thing. They care about getting reelected. So when they start thinking that they're going to lose an election, they start passing stupid laws.
Yeah.
Just to get people to shut up.
And that's the thing is it is presumed culturally that it is their job to do, quote unquote, do something. We have to, as a country, get back to the right answer on the fundamental question of what is the purpose and scope of government. And when the presumption is that the government exists to take care of you, you end up with the expectation that something bad happened, so it's the government's job to take care of me next time. Well,
maybe you kind of got to give them a fig leaf.
How so?
Well, see, here's the thing right now. Here's the good example I'll use is that there is a city councilman in Des Moines. Okay. Now he comes from an incredibly conservative ward, and he's always in danger of losing his seat on the city council. he's a good guy. He does a lot of good stuff in the city and all this other stuff. But occasionally he has to go in front of the city council and he has to fight for something completely stupid. I mean, completely stupid. And the council listens to him. They have a long debate about it. Then they vote him down. Now, people are going, if you always know you're going to get voted down, why are you going to fight for this? And he's like, because I have to keep my constituents at home. See, I can walk back and talk to the people in the ward and say, guys, I tried. They listened to me. I voted yes for it. I did everything you wanted me to do. The rest of the council voted me down. And everybody's happy. You know?
Right.
See, now, if you say you're a politician right now and you've got a really strong incumbent going against you, I mean, somebody who's got a really good chance of beating you, and a crisis happens. Your opponent is going to be sitting there talking about how lazy you are, how you didn't do anything, how nothing happened. So you've got to pass some legislation just to get this guy to shut up. But if you can go back home and sit there and say, guys, I agree with you, man. We got to do something right this second. I really wish we could do something right this second. We need to do it right now. But unfortunately, I can't do anything for 60 days. You know, I can't. I'm sorry.
It's just completely unworkable because they'll just backdate it to whatever tragedy happened.
If you don't, here's the thing. If you don't,
2 months ago, it doesn't matter.
You're right. It might. This might work. It might fail. But I'm retired and I may as well tilt at windmills. You know, I mean.
Well, it's logic versus emotion, right?
Right. But see, the thing is people can get emotional, but if you can give them a reason why you're not doing what they want to do, especially in the Midwest. Now, I don't know how this would work on the East Coast. I don't know how this would work on the West Coast, but Midwest, well, you're in Minneapolis, you know that, well, even then, they're still a little bit different than the people on the coast. If you can walk up to somebody and say, look, guys, I'd love to do it, but I can't right now, and this is the reason why, they'll leave you alone. So but like I said, I'm bored and I've got nothing better to do. It's either this or start a podcast, and there's too many podcasts out there already. You know, I don't want you to run a YouTube channel for 5 years and has 3 subscribers.
Well, as long as you're having fun, that's the only that's the
I know, but it bore me to death. You know, I mean, I mean, look, you guys have to put up with me for 3 hours a month, and afterwards you're kind of like, damn, we got to put up with Jeff guys there. Yeah, we got to get rid of it. You know,
Right, I remember when I had like 300 subscribers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, it's
except for you can't go shopping for another insurer.
Yeah,
unfortunately, that's the only one in town. But it is strange too. It's not just like the knee-jerk reaction to government as caretaker, but specifically the federal government, top-down, one size fits all. Everyone must conform. Big government solution to every problem. I mean, I don't know if we'd have as much of an issue if the answer was, I'm gonna go have a chat with my city council or my county commissioners or whatever, or even my state government.
Most people don't even know who their local representation is.
Well, I know.
And that's the big problem.
I legitimately don't know. I think I know. I think I know, but I'm not 100% sure. And that is backwards. It's an inversion of the way things should be.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
Yes. That was the whole system in the beginning. It was like the federal government was supposed to handle like really major problems, but you were supposed to handle stuff. So almost everything was supposed to be handled at the local level.
Just basically collective defense and peacekeeping between the states. Yeah. That's basically all the federal government needs to do.
Yeah, but unfortunately, we gave the federal government too much money, and they can hold out that little purse. They can hold out all those grants and stuff to the states and say, no, we're not going to have a federal law that makes the legal drinking age 21. But you know what? If your state doesn't pass the federal drinking age of 21, we're just going to withhold your federal highway.
Oh yeah, with the insurance, yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's like.
I remember when everything.
And we're not going to make a law banning assault weapons. We're just going to hold your funding if you don't ban assault weapons.
Yeah, which is a particular. I wonder.
No,
that's a question I would like to ask the constitutional framers about. Is that, granted, they saw limited role and specific role for the federal government, but when the federal government starts using that power of the purse to incentivize or disincentivize certain behavior of the states. Is that to be viewed as legit, or is that sort of an abuse of what the intent was?
Yeah,
Abuse.
it's got to be an abuse of what the intent was.
Yeah, I
At the
agree.
very least, it's the scummiest, slimiest thing that you could do.
Right.
Well, I
So-
mean, isn't that kind of part of the freedom element, which is that the state is free not to take it,
What
right?
the hell am I hearing right now?
It's not me. I hear it too.
Something sounds.
Is it the baby?
Sounds like sucking.
I think it's the baby.
Problem
Sorry,
is,
what were you saying? Can you repeat it once more? Because I legitimately was too distracted.
I was just
I
saying,
still don't know what it is.
isn't that part of our freedom narrative?
Oh, that was it. What's
I mean,
the freedom narrative?
the states are free not to take it, right?
Not to take the money.
I suppose, yeah. I mean, it's not like they're not being forced. They're not. There's no punishment, I suppose, for not doing it. So maybe that's a point against the idea that it's some sort of abuse of the intended structure of how this ought to work.
I
Right,
suppose
right.
it borders on taxation without, representation really, but we're paying in and now we're not getting something because we're not bending the knee.
Yeah, I
that
wonder
other
if there's
states
like an
are.
equal protection angle
Yeah.
on that.
looking at just from a real politics point of view, if you turn down $2 billion in federal highway funds, you're not going to get reelected in the next election.
Maybe, but there's a good
Yeah.
chance that you're right, that there's a good chance you won't get reelected.
Yeah, that's the downside. It's but politics is the only game for grown-ups.
That you
Oh,
voted
so-
to change gun laws, I'm definitely not voting for you.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I said if I find out you voted to change gun laws, then you're definitely I'm not voting for you. Period. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on with every other issue. You're not getting voted for.
Oh boy.
I blame it on the
Tell
death
us-
of communities.
Tell us how you really feel.
That's all right. Oh, has anyone seen Black Pigeon's latest video? He just released it a few hours ago
Yeah, I saw
No.
it this afternoon.
on Fear, which was actually pretty good. And I think that's like a big problem, even though like when we were like debating on just the structure of how certain things get passed. But we also touched base earlier that a lot of like these stupid laws do get passed because I mean, like with me, I'm like the conspiracy nut in regarding to like how propaganda can mold people's minds. But take a look at some of the craziest events that has happened to this country, like 2001 with 9/11, for example.
Oh yeah,
And look at all the shitty laws that were passed after that. I'm surprised.
exactly.
We still have the Second Amendment, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Well, it's probably.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if they had. They didn't use firearms really in executing their
Oh.
plot. But I wonder what. I wonder if things would have changed if they had. If they. I don't know. Had
Said
people
they
at
stormed
gunpoint or
Well,
did whatever.
Put
Yeah.
bombs in or
Let's
something.
put it this
Yeah.
way. Well, like right now with Black Pigeon's the last video he posted, he did post the one on 9/11, and he showed what he did was what people are exposed to and what really happened. Like for example, like we saw the 2 twin towers fall down, but did you know that there was one other building that collapsed for no particular reason
Building
whatsoever?
7.
7. That it was too suspicious.
Yeah, Building 7, and if you look at like the aerial view, it's
Yep.
really nowhere close. Like and they say that that the ground, the frequency of the ground shaking is what caused it, but that just seems so bizarre.
No.
Of
I come from a long line of civil engineers, guys who build buildings like that.
Right.
And my dad and I had a long discussion about it afterwards, and it's like, yeah, it sounds crazy the way this stuff can go, but people don't really realize how fragile these buildings are. They're designed. See, you don't build something earthquake proof when when you're in a zone with no earthquakes.
Right.
You
That
don't
makes sense.
build right. So we were talking. He was trying to explain it to me, and he ended up bringing. When my dad starts doing math, I'm just kind of like, okay, you win. But yeah, But what it comes down to is that at the time of the design of the towers, they were designed to withstand a 707 aircraft crashing into them, because that was the biggest aircraft at the time. And then, so the reason they actually collapse when people say that jet fuel can't burn steel is that everybody forgets that it's the concrete and the steel working together. They have to actually work together to hold the building up. Now, when you get to like building 7, you start getting a tremor in the ground. If it can send the right kind of vibration through the steel to cause the concrete to crack, then yeah, it can collapse in on itself. Now, it's extremely rare, but it can. It's one of those things. I was talking to him. He goes, yeah, it's rare. He goes, but I wouldn't sit there and say that somebody planted explosives in it and everything else because it could have happened that way.
Well, what about the Pentagon itself? What do you
Well, the
think?
Pentagon, I don't know. I never really studied that much about the Pentagon.
Because
I know it's been
I drove by it a few times.
I know it's made out of limestone. I was in there a couple of times back in the early '80s doing courier duty, but it's. I know it's made out of limestone, but
Right.
it's. I don't know if there was any collateral damage besides them hitting the ring buildings or whatnot. It's like, but the other thing was my dad is always quick to point out. He goes, if you put 100 engineers in a room and give them a problem, you get 100 different answers. You get 100 guys who are absolutely positively true that theirs is the only right answer.
Now,
So nothing else will work.
Pentagon was the most fishiest one for me, but whatever.
Well, the Pentagon was the one that actually made the most sense to me because it was a legitimate target of war.
Yes.
That's the reason you never hear about the Pentagon when they talk about it, because as far as I was out of the military at the time, but everybody else I know was still in, and all the other guys, it's like, it was a legitimate target of war.
Right.
It was a straight up legitimate target of war. It's like, that wasn't terrorism, that was an act of war. But it was a legitimate target. So, but taking out civilians, that's just not a cool thing.
But didn't it also hit like a park that was being renovated, so there weren't a lot of people in there?
It's cost of doing business. Like if you were to attack Fort Campbell and a bomb hit the daycare center, it's collateral damage, but it's considered part of the cost of doing business, because if you don't want your kids killed, don't put them on a military target.
True.
You're pushing that theory and your lights went out. There's your conspiracy.
Yeah.
No, I got these Wi-Fi lights, and my wife, when she goes to bed, turns off the bed ones, but sometimes she hits mine instead.
Do you have a Philips
That's
Hue?
why they came back on. No, they're the LifeX bulbs.
Okay. Yeah, I've got probably $500 in Philips Hue, and if I could go back in time, I would tell myself that that's a huge waste of time.
Wow, it's that expensive?
They're about $30 a bulb.
Whoa.
Why is that? Is it because they're what makes them so expensive?
They last forever?
First of all,
last
that's
forever.
right. They last forever. You can change them any color you want, whenever you want to.
Okay.
You can set them on triggers to turn themselves
something
off
like
at 11. At my house, at 11 o'clock, everything turns off. So,
but wouldn't that make the system expensive as opposed to the bulb itself?
The bulb is the system for me.
well, the bulb has the capacity to do that, which
Cool! Now your room's pink. Now it's green and blue.
Yeah.
Like
Make
the
it rosy.
Wizard of Oz.
Like I have my hallway set up, so
if you wanted to do this
sundown,
cheap, you could do it way
turn on
cheaper.
it really low.
Like if you wanted the capacity to just turn your lights off and automate a lot of stuff, you could just get smart switches, which is what I should have done. If I could go back in time, that's what I would have done. I would have just gotten smart switches.
Or the other thing is, like, if you're traveling for a long time, you can set your lights up to act like you're home.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I do that with a
someone's
timer.
like scouting you out or something. Yeah.
I use the old-fashioned timer. Plug in the wall.
Yeah, I don't
That
have any of
works.
that fancy crap.
That's because you live in a basement.
Yeah. I live in a
I mean,
one-story home. I live in my mom's basement. You're right.
Yes. Literally. I mean, he's not kidding when his intro on his show.
Yeah, you have to
Well-
occasionally, Matt. You have to occasionally shout back over your shoulder as though your mom.
Shut up, Mom!
Something, or
Yeah.
sell the ruse a little better.
It's kind of an old video
Dan.
game reference, man. It's like back when you'd play on Xbox Live, that was everyone's comeback. Was like, "Oh, how's your mom's basement, bro?" Everybody was saying that kind of stuff.
Well, you got a nice basement.
I actually wish I had a basement. I don't actually have a basement. I wish I had kind of like
Man cave basement.
a man cave or a sinkhole, basically. Go down and just have a big area with a huge TV and a couch and all that stuff.
Are basements common in the Midwest?
I don't know. I mean, I know plenty of people with basements. My
'Cause
parents
they're common around here, and my friend moved down to Texas, and he says they're non-existent down there. They don't
Really?
do basements.
Everything's built on
Non-existent
a
in California.
Yeah, we don't have them in Arizona either.
Yeah, there's not really a flooding problem here. I mean, I've got a crawl space, and before I had air conditioning, I thought about like figuring out how to put a couch and some video games down in the crawl space when it was that hot, because it stays pretty cool down there. But I never did. Yeah, but yeah, there are plenty of houses with basements. I don't know.
No,
I don't really know why. Like, what difference? I don't know why I care, but there's just something about being down in a cave-like environment that's cool.
It's just because the basement has traditionally been the man's realm. I mean, that was like, it's like your wife had everything else in the house. You had the basement and the garage.
Yeah.
Get up to no good down in the basement.
Yes, you could go down there. You could just be like, yes, this is mine. I can have my couch and I can have my stuff, and it's mine.
Yeah.
And no one can complain about it. I don't have to pretend I like the pink pillows, and I don't have to pretend I understand what a window treatment is.
Yeah.
I don't have to pretend and it's just like, yes,
I go to my mom's house, and my mom is the worst with like a million pillows on everything, like there's like 10 pillows on every couch or every bed, and they're the worst kind of pillows they look fine. Like, my mom has exquisite taste, but they're like the scratchy kind of pillow.
Non-functional.
It's like, I would never lay on this. This is uncomfortable and it sucks, but there's like 10 of them on every piece of furniture.
You're going to have a henna tattoo on your face if you use it to sleep on.
Basically, you'll wake up.
Or wait until after the wedding and you have to go shopping for furniture and all that stuff.
That's why I defer these decisions.
I swear, my wife has a mountain of pillows on the bed. And every morning I get up, I'm like, there's a freaking mountain of pillows. What the hell is this?
Well, the correct number for me is 2. I need 2 pillows to sleep. That's like the perfect height.
Right.
But it depends on the pillow, of course. Although,
dude, get my pillow.
I have one. I have one, and it's nice. But I also have what do I have? I think it's a Tempur-Pedic one, and it's better. So I go My Pillow is the base, and then Tempur-Pedic is the one that's up top.
I love my pillow.
It's pretty good. And did you see the My Pillow guy? Did you guys see Unplanned and the My Pillow guy's cameo in that movie?
What? Wait, what?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
So,
is it out yet?
You can. I think. Well, I don't know if you can get it on like DVD or online yet. Yeah. But yeah, the Mike. I think his name's Mike Lindell, something like that. He's actually a huge like pro-life activist guy, in addition to his pillow business. And so at the end of the movie, spoiler alert, when they're actually destroying the Planned Parenthood clinic in Texas, he's the guy with the wrecking ball or whatever. He's like, I've been waiting to do this for a long time.
What the hell?
Yeah. It's pretty funny.
An actual movie?
Yeah, in Unplanned. He's in it for like 10 seconds at the end. He has a weird cameo because apparently he gave a bunch of money to the movie. I think he gave like $1 million or something to the movie.
Oh, I have to watch this movie. I keep forgetting.
It's worth a watch. I mean, it is dramatized.
Right.
But I think it's worth watching, and it was uncomfortable. Like, I went and saw it in the theaters, and had all the snacks good to go. It slaps you in the face with some
uncomfortable truths.
Yeah, right away. Like I knew that was going to be there, and it's like, yeah, but I didn't want to eat my Sour Patch Kids and my popcorn after some of that stuff.
Yeah, that's understandable. Completely understandable.
Yeah, but it's worth
still
watching.
Advertising it in theaters. They don't have it out anywhere.
Well, it was out back in like the spring. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think about 3-4 months ago, because I was going to try and get to see it, but life got in the way.
It was worth watching. I'm glad I went to see it.
It's not like a Christian Lifetime movie.
No, it's some of the.
These are the best.
Some of the acting in it is downright horrible. Like the main Abby Johnson's character is pretty good, but her husband is one of the worst actors I've ever seen, and I kind of get it because all these people are 100% throwing away their like mainstream movie careers to do this movie. So
right.
You take what you can get. The guy, the husband guy, is like supposed to be kind of her guide the whole time. Like he's always kind of urging her, because he's a pro-life guy, even though she manages a Planned Parenthood clinic, and he's always kind of nudging her to move away from that. And she sort of struggles emotionally with it throughout the movie, and he's always the support guy. But it's just the dialogue is so shitty. It's just they're there. I know times are tough, but we will see a better day. The Lord wills it. Like that kind of thing.
Like
So
Christian porn.
Well,
it's
it's
so
it's
dry
doing
and
the best
bad.
you can with the budget you got.
Yeah,
You know?
like that guy is comically bad, but the rest of it, is good. And even the scene, like there's a scene right away at the start where there's I forget exactly what's happening procedurally. Like the doctor is trying to find the baby they're aborting with the with some kind of forceps or something. Or they basically have an ultrasound, and you can see the baby squirming to avoid whatever it is that he's trying
How
to
many
grab it
weeks
with.
was it?
It's I mean, but that's the thing is it's a generated ultrasound. It's not like a real.
Oh, right.
So
right.
they kind of dramatize that up, and they dramatize up. She has like a chemical abortion, and I'm not even saying it's inaccurate, but that's why people go after. They say it's propaganda because it's highly built up in a dramatic fashion. I don't know.
It's interesting how people take a stand against like media-based propaganda, depending on which way it leans.
Yeah,
like I'm trying to. What was that one about illegal immigration where they the girls kind of have to like have sex with the supervisors to get jobs and stuff.
I don't remember that one.
I'm trying to remember what it was, but I
Right.
was just kind of like, I was watching this and I was like, well, they're humanizing one group and demonizing the other.
Yeah.
This is where we are now. This is how movies have evolved. When I was a kid, there's Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which is a movie where Jennifer Jason Leigh has an abortion without her parents knowing, and that's not even what the movie's about.
Right.
Nope, it was just
another one of 10 stories in life in these United States.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the regardless of whether you think the abortion scenes are dramatized or not, the thing I appreciated about Unplanned the most, and I was mentioning on the stream at the time, was the tactics that the Christian protesters. I don't know if it's accurate or not. I have no idea, but they all say it is. The tactics that they used to persuade her against what she was doing, like it wasn't the abortion clinic stuff where they're standing outside throwing blood on people or attacking people or being violent or killing people or bombing things. They persuaded her over time by being kind to her and trying to show her another way and allowing her to choose that path over time, as opposed to like trying to browbeat her. And then they were welcoming and accommodating and forgiving to her. Lo and behold, she becomes, a huge, powerful pro-life ally for them ultimately. And that was really cool.
Going to a Baptist church.
What's that?
What did he say?
Must not be going to a Baptist church.
Oh yeah. Well, I appreciated what was depicted, which was like, listen, you took somebody who's supposed to be your mortal enemy, who you believe is murdering people en masse on a daily basis, and you converted her through giving her the benefit of the doubt, through assuming her good intentions, through persuading her over time, as opposed to just telling her she's awful and trying to sabotage her career or whatever else. I appreciated that element of it.
Right. I think that's the difficult thing about abortion in general nowadays is people just don't think that it's wrong because either they buried their head in the sand and remained totally ignorant of it, or they've twisted things around where the moral subjectivity makes it okay.
Well, even when we get to the point that it's celebrated, that's where I was like, okay, I'm out.
What I don't like.
I'm off the train, guys. I'm not doing this anymore.
Well,
if it's handled the way it was in Japan.
How did they do it?
Did you ever see the Black Pigeon Speaks video on that?
No.
It was quite good. No. And abortion has always been legal, and it has always been legal in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something that is considered an incredibly private matter.
Yes.
It's something that you don't celebrate.
Nope.
The doctors who perform it basically go and get, they basically go on retreats to get absolution from the shit. Not absolution, but it's it's just considered something, it's something that sometimes this distasteful thing is sometimes something incredibly distasteful is necessary.
Well, that's how I was sold on it when I considered myself pro-choice. Yeah, that was the idea. Is like, listen, some people need to make this decision.
Well, that's the way it was sold to us because I was.
Right.
I grew up during that time period. I remember I was in high school right before, shortly after it was made legal. But I still remember watching the protests and stuff because I was at the state capitol on a field trip when I was a kid, and people were screaming "safe, legal, and rare." That's the way it was sold to us.
Yeah.
It's not,
You know?
and now it's not even like that.
And
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden, it's like half the girls, well, not half the girls, but a lot of girls I knew in high school were getting knocked up, and it was just considered that it was being used as a form of contraception, which it was never intended to be.
No.
It
Yeah,
was
exactly.
okay. The movie I was talking about is called Fast Food Nation. It even
Huh.
it had
Oh.
Bruce Willis in it.
Weird. When did this come out?
Oh, years and years and years ago. But it absolutely is, a left-wing propaganda piece.
Right.
And I'm not saying that's good. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying that people tend to label things when they don't like what they're seeing. When, in
Yeah.
reality, if they were objective enough, they would be like, okay, well, there's some truth here and there's not.
It's a cool book. I've read that book. It's Eric Schlosser, who's an interesting guy. He's he's an investigative journalist, and he just calls shit as he sees it. He doesn't seem to have, like, you could easily have positioned him like as a vegan champion or something, but that he's like, meat, but I'm exposed on in the slaughterhouses just the same, and anyway, it's an interesting.
Oh my god, dude! That video that you sent me of those PETA was like, or I don't know if they were PETA, but animal rights activists or anti-meat activists.
Right.
I was like, like,
They're
oh
bad.
my god, dude! You sent me. I don't know if any of you guys have seen this. You sent me this video of these protesters at a slaughterhouse. Like, what do they put their heads in the
in bike locks?
Yeah. And the guy almost gets decapitated or his throat slit or something like that.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my god, stop the machine.
Yeah, as a like, how could this happen? How could this happen? You're like, I'm sitting on top of a bomb, hitting it with a hammer.
Yeah, dude.
Brain
Holy
power of a hound dog puppy.
I just that bothered me to watch, and not for the reasons they want it to bother me. I understand that a lot of factory farming practices and slaughterhouse stuff.
They're horrible.
It's a lot of bad shit.
It is.
But to watch a human being putting himself in the same sort of machinery is just like,
that's Darwinism.
I guess maybe I should be like, you chose this. I don't feel bad.
Yeah.
Live and let live. Come on.
I guess.
And that was their video too. Like, they posted that. I don't know if they're getting a lot of new recruits.
Dude.
No.
That made me so uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah.
I was not mentally prepared for it when I clicked it.
Yeah.
What a damn
So
idiot.
brutal.
It could be worse. It could be
But
worse.
The thing is, I've watched I've watched ISIS executions, and I've watched screwed up shit on Live Leak. The thing is, like, if you're mentally prepared to see it,
Right.
this was just like, I wasn't sure what I was getting into. And thankfully, there was nothing graphic in it, but it was just like, I wasn't in the mindset to see that sort of thing.
Poor Matt. His worldview is destroyed.
How just like seeing something horrible, it can kind of like ruin your day, like screw up your mindset for a day, or make it hard to focus, or those kind of things.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's people, they think that nothing can hurt them. They think that, the world is going to protect me no matter what, so I'm going to scream and holler, and there will be no consequences. So if I bike lock myself to the thing that kills the chickens, I'll somehow magically be spared that fate because the world is. That's the mindset.
Did the guy die?
No, he didn't die.
Oh shit! Great to watch.
No,
I would just watch it just for the Freudenscheid, or what do they call it, Freudenscheid?
Schadenfreude.
Okay, Schadenfreude, just for that.
God, man.
I don't know. It's one of those things that's kind of like, I really shouldn't take pleasure in watching this, but god damn. It's, or as my buddy always used to say to me, we're going to hell for this one, Ski. I'm like, yeah, we are. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Go
ahead.
I was going to say, the vegetarian stuff is.
Sorry, it's me. I completely forget I'm even doing it. My wife, it bugs the snot on my wife.
There are a lot of good arguments for vegetarianism and stuff. At the end of the day, meat is just good, so I don't. But my
God.
fiance eats vegetarian, not even because of like ethical reasons. She just like finds meat gross. It's just like this weird thing. I don't know.
Well,
Anyway,
my
so-
nephew's like that.
Every
He's
once in a
like
while
9.
we'll grill, and I'll grill something up, and then like we'll grill a veggie burger or something. But she works at like a fancy grocery, like a natural products grocery store,
Right.
and they have these they have every kind of veggie burger under the sun. And there's have you guys seen these Beyond Meat ones? That's what they're called. Have you ever
Why would
tried
they
one?
waste their time?
Dude, these are
Some of them are good.
We had to double check the package like 50 times because this thing is red. It has a beef-like texture. It almost is
too good.
Off the grill, it was like, this is really convincing. And it tasted like beef to me. It was actually quite good. And I thought, well, I haven't bought one since, but I was like, damn, this is not terrible. It's actually pretty good. It's
when
weird
they can
how
make
close
artificial
they've gotten.
bacon, I'll consider it.
I've never been
Yeah.
a bacon guy,
No,
but
and it's just like when they can make an artificial bacon that tastes like bacon.
yeah.
Okay, I'll consider this whole vegan thing, but bacon and beer is proof. Not only proof that there is a God, but He loves
That's a
us and
man.
wants us to be
That's
happy.
a man talking right there.
I mean, God wants us to be happy because He gave us bacon. Well, you think about it, right? Look, have you ever noticed that all the religions right now that allow you to have more than one wife don't allow you to have a beer
Or bacon in some cases.
or bacon?
Yeah.
Well, Mormons can have bacon, but I mean, but they can't have beer. I mean, it's like a beer and bacon are the secret to world peace, I believe. That and McDonald's.
That's
Speaking of which, Matt, are you going to the dark side with? Did I see you having one of
no,
these?
this is actually one of those weird it's like a soda knockoff. With
Oh, that shit! That stuff gives me migraines. I can't even drink it.
It's all right. Like it's I'd
Come
say
on,
it's
0
better.
calories. Drink water.
Well, I do drink water. I do drink my fair share of water.
Christ, I should have mailed you one.
No,
of
I
those
would never drink Bud Light though, because of the wage gap bullshit and their other stupid ads.
I should have mailed you the apple brandy that I got from Poland instead of the Jew. Lucky Jew.
Well,
God, yes.
I'm excited to see that turn up in the mail.
You got some candy to go with it too.
Oh well, thank you.
No, they got some good ass apple brandy over in Europe. Oh.
Well, we'll have some great conversations.
No, but
Let me
I
find
just
the bottle. Hold on. Well,
no, back when I was stationed there, I used to like this stuff called apple corn, which is this apple brandy, and they sold it in a little tiny. This is back in the '80s when you couldn't go into a store here and get the little airline bottles. So they used to sell these things in these little airline bottles, and I really liked that stuff. And but you can't get it. Never been able to find it in the States.
And, all right, I'm back. All right, so it's a little show and tell here, but my cousin gave me like the bootleg liquor from Poland. So this is Jablówka, something like that. But they call it Bimber in Polish for some reason. It has a really weird nickname, Bimber. So this is the apple brandy, green apple brandy. So I could mail you this one if you want that during your show. It'd be kind of funny.
You should. I actually am not a big liquor guy. I appreciate it, but I think you'll probably enjoy that.
I would. And this is the plum. This is the plum hard stuff. It's made out of plum. They call it Śliwowica or something like that. So that I remember years ago, if you used to get that in the southern mountains in Poland, like if you get caught with it in the airport, they'll charge a tax because it was bootleg.
Speaking of which, are there regulations on mailing booze? Because
you can't send it through the U.S. mail. You'll have to send it through UPS or FedEx.
They'll ship it. Because I actually a little while back when I talked about that Indian lady who says she was discriminated against at the liquor store or whatever.
Why?
I was talking about this was like maybe 2 months ago. She was wasted at the liquor store trying to buy more booze, and they said, "No, you're wasted. We can't legally sell you." And so then they called the cop, or she called the cops, and the cops showed up, and they're like, "Why are you behind the wheel wasted?" And she's like, "I'm not. They discriminated against me. I'm a woman of color, you know."
Wow.
but I mentioned at the time because she was saying the cops had brutalized her or some such nonsense, and the cop
Did
was
they?
actually it was totally professional. The body cam footage showed there was no misconduct whatsoever. But I had mentioned in the video, if anyone can identify that police officer for me, I would love to send him a bottle from that liquor store as a token of appreciation. Anyway, there were some people in town there, and they didn't know who the cop was, but they said, well, we went by the liquor store and we bought some wine there or something. We'll send it to you. But then they said they couldn't send it because of some, like, you can't mail booze or something like that.
It goes state by state. Like in Massachusetts, you couldn't receive wine outside. It was weird. Like, for example, I wanted to ship wine from Florida to Massachusetts, but my state didn't allow it. I don't know about it now, but I remember a few years ago they wouldn't allow it. But some states you can.
No, the U.S. Postal Service will not handle alcohol.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was reading. I read it in the regs one time because I was going to send some booze, and then I looked into because I was going to send some Templeton Rye to my dad out in Arizona, and then I found out I could ship it through UPS. And then I went down and talked to UPS, and UPS told me how much it was going to be, and I said, my dad doesn't really need the booze that bad.
What are they charging to ship like a bottle?
It was going to cost me about $40.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah,
yeah, because of the special package and it's technically a hazardous material, and
wow,
it's heavy.
Were you sending moonshine?
In Arizona.
No, it's Templeton Rye. This was
Al Capone's trying to
whiskey.
say something. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good. In Arizona, I had a bottle of wine from a vintner in Arizona shipped to me. They tried to charge me $50 for shipping.
Wow.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Well, if you go through like a wine service, they won't charge you that. Like what's it called now? Like Club. It was Club W. I don't remember what, like Wink or something now. Like
I've heard of that.
Yeah, they won't charge you. They won't charge you that much.
And he's drinking wine too.
Yeah.
I have a wine show too, so
Well, you can say hi to them back. What are they doing? Are they streaming right now or what? All right. It's dinner time for me, people.
Yeah, I gotta get
tomorrow.
I will be back on tomorrow afternoon. Yeah.
2:00. All right.
Yep.
I'll be working.
Bye, guys.
The time is terrible for me.
Yeah, I'll catch you guys next time or whenever. Appreciate
All
it.
right.
Thanks for supporting, of course.
All right. Bye.
All right.